Thank you for that gracious welcome from International Vice President Danny Holman from Iowa. And a shout out to your President, Lee Sanders, and to your Secretary Treasurer, Laura Reyes, who have done a powerful job of leading this organization. Thank you. My name is Barb Kalbach. I'm a registered nurse and a fourth-generation family farmer from Iowa. Now, you may wonder what a family farmer from Iowa has to talk to you about. Well, you see, your struggles are our struggles, and our struggles are your struggles. Your fight's our fight, and our fight is your fight. We're all in this together, fighting for justice and democracy together. I joined Iowa Citizens for Community Improvement back in 2002 when a man from 60 miles away came to our neighborhood to build a big factory farm 2,000 feet from my house. Iowa CCI empowered my family and my community to fight back, and we shut that factory farm down. Now, family farming can be a hard life, but it can be a good life in many ways. And I'm glad that we were able to raise our 3 children on the family farm where they learned the value of taking care of what you have. They learned empathy for living things. They learned persistence and working toward goals. And they learned that they were able to roam across the land to play and explore without fear of harm. My great-grandparents, my grandparents, and my parents all farmed within 20 miles of where we farm today. And my husband Jim's grandparents and parents farmed the land where we live today. So you could say that family farming is definitely our legacy. But corporate-owned farming is on the rise. They have power, and their heads are full of money, and they've got plenty of both. In farm country, corporations began to consolidate their power back in the 1980s when thousands of family farmers were driven from the land. Large farm corporations then began to consolidate their power through our legislature by working through the commodity groups for pork, beef, dairy, and the grains, and a powerful advocacy group called the Farm Bureau. These groups worked for few regulations in factory farming, so they're very lightly regulated, and they disenfranchised the one body that was supposed to regulate these factory farms to protect we the people. Well, what's happening in an attack on family farms is happening to you too. Unions have been disenfranchised and are unable to fight effectively for workers' rights. The super wealthy fund ALEC and the Right to Work Committee to enhance their wealth at the expense of the middle class. In Iowa, what's happening in our communities is happening in communities across the country in different ways. In African American communities, the big banks came in and made predatory loans, crashed the economy, and in one fell swoop wiped out what it took generations to build in wealth. In immigrant communities, families are torn apart, partly because the private prison industry is lobbying for immigrant laws that fill our detention centers and line the pockets of CEOs, all at the expense of hard-working families. Billionaires Charles and David Koch show no signs of turning off. And they show no signs of turning off the spigot of money that they are using to buy politicians at all levels of government. Their products and their ads are veiled as good for communities, but they really ensure that the middle class and unions continue to lose their standard of living. What's happening to my family and to your family is not an accident. It's a deliberate plan that's come over decades. It was hatched by abusive CEOs who are clear that they need to enhance their power in order to generate more profits. And their agenda is simple. They want to reduce worker wages and benefits. They want to cut taxes for the wealthy and the corporations. They want to deregulate industry, privatize everything and anything, and take power away from us. Allowing unlimited money into politics wasn't an accident. It was a power shift to achieve a goal. Voter registration isn't a goal. It's a power shift to move their agenda forward. Taking power away from and breaking unions not only lowers worker wages and benefits, it's a power shift to reduce the power of the worker in politics and in policy. And as a result of that power shift, we're seeing the breakdown of schools and of education. We're seeing the breakdown of health care, of environmental protections, and of infrastructure. All the systems that were designed to show our caring for one another, of our shared fate as Americans. It's happening to all of us in different ways, but communities of color and women are impacted the worst. Well, I mean to fight back. And that's why I'm a member of a powerful people's organization like Iowa Citizens for Community Improvement and National People's Action, and that's why I support unions like AFSCME. The corporations have a plan. Well, we have a plan too. A plan for a new economy and a new democracy. One that values and serves people like us, not the corporate bottom line. We have a plan to fight, not for what we can win, but for what we need to win. We have a plan to take power back from abusive corporations and give it to the everyday people. We don't want a place at the table. We want to run that table, don't we? Well, if that's true, it will take all of us pulling together. But when we're done, family farms will again be passed to a new generation. And it will happen in a new economy, one that values family farmers, one that values domestic workers, one that values library and higher education workers, one that values health service workers, one that values immigrants and communities of color, and one that values all of our public sector workers who work so hard for their communities. Thank you. Sí se puede. Sí se puede. Sí se puede.